Warning, the following episode of the Blackwell podcast contains spoilers from all episodes of Life is Strange.
Hello and welcome to the Blackwell podcast, where we love Life is Strange more than Samuel loves his squirrels.
And today we have a really special guest. We are joined here by Alejandro Arque. Hi, how are you doing today?
Hello, very nice. Thanks for inviting me over.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a fun episode, because normally when we do interviews, it's mainly about the voice acting side, but we're going to be talking about more of the production kind of side now, which is going to be really exciting to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm quite excited to talk to you guys. You know, you've been doing great, so it's good to share anything I can share with you.
Sweet. All right, now Jess, would you like to start off with the first question?
Yeah, so the first question is pretty basic. Could you just give us a short introduction to those who are unaware of who you are?
Cool. So my name is Alejandro. I'm from Spain. I'm game designer at Square Enix, and I've had the opportunity to work in Life is Strange as a game designer. So yeah, that's kind of been my title. I've been in Square for over 2 years now, and been more than a year and a half working on Life is Strange. Yep, that's about it.
So, yeah, talking more about game design, was there anything that kind of pulled you towards it, or was it just, or did it just come about to what you're doing now?
Well, I mean, it's going to be, I think it's a funny story. I hope you believe it because it's true. So it started when I had like 6 years old. So my dad gave me this Spectrum ZX, I think it was called, and I loved the game. So one day I got this book about programming, and I decided to do a game that the book was showing how to do it, and I did that, and I gave that to my brother, and he laughed and loved it. And at that point, I knew I wanted to do games, to be honest. That was like, I wanted to do that for a lot of people. So that was kind of like my first, I want to do this. But then, because I'm not good drawing, I went to basically do computer science as a programmer. Then I think it was like 15 years ago, I kind of discovered the game design. I said, this is what I want to do. That's actually what I want to do. Because at the time when, Super Nintendo and NES, there was not game design per se, so it was someone else doing that role. And kind of like my profession is a bit quite new. But yeah, I love it. And that's how I got pulled in. Loved it since I joined, so.
Wow.
That's really cool. That's so I guess you have how does your dad make you does he bring it up like every Christmas, or your success is thanks to me?
Yeah. So yeah, he does. I mean, my brother probably is going to learn about this now, so he doesn't know that he's kind of guilty as well. But no, the good thing is that my whole family has been really, really supportive. I mean, all my family is like kind of artists, so they all like to draw, or paint, or do sculptures. I was the only black sheep, But then, designing is quite creative. So yeah, my brother is really supportive. I have an uncle that we have shared the passions. He was 10 years old with games, so he's always been like there till the end. So it's kind of like a whole family, to be honest. And it's something they've brought it recently quite a lot of times. So.
Well, that's good that your family is supportive of you.
Plus, my uncle is one of the things that he always tells to me is like, I always dreamt to work at Square Enix since I played, I think it was first Chrono Trigger. And I'm here. So it's kind of like dream come true, kind of. So it's quite fun.
So how did you get involved with Square Enix? Aside, so you loved them, you wanted to work for them, and now you're there. How did that happen?
So how it happened, I was working in Spain in a games company called Gameloft, and I had a ex-colleague that was working at Square Enix on the mobile department. And I said, they're looking for a game designer here on the PC console part. Would you be interested? And I was like, yeah, but I'm not good enough, not yet. So I don't know, I don't see myself there. And they said, try it. I mean, what is to lose? So yeah, I did the interviews and they offered me the job, and I was like, yeah, that's not possible. That's a dream. Something is gonna go wrong somewhere. And yeah, I came here, and to be honest, it's great. The team here is amazing, and I'm just learning a lot with a lot of people. So it's really nice.
Wow.
So getting to know people that you admire when you're a kid, it's quite funny. It's quite interesting. So leave it at that.
Yeah, definitely. So for the next question, how were you assigned your role in the production of Life is Strange then?
So I was at the time I was working. I think I was working Nosgoth, which is a free-to-play game, PvP, and I was shown kind of like the scene of Chloe, Max, and David at the bedroom first episode, which was kind of like the first prototype done on hand. And I remember seeing that, and it's like, "Whoa, this is really, really good."
Mm-hmm.
Just for what I saw, I was like, that is a game I need to work with. Then my boss said, read the script, read the design, see if you like it. We're missing a designer there, so if you like it, then go ahead. So I read everything. I was like, yep, I need to be in that one. That is, it touches so much things that are personal to me as well, that I needed to be there and be part of that. And that's how I got in, really. So it was really interesting.
Wow.
I mean, it was interesting, like, you seen it and then you were like, I want to be a part of that game, and you actually got to be a part of it, which was amazing to think about.
Yeah, to be honest, I still don't believe in myself. But one of the first tasks I had with Life is Strange was, one of the things that we do in publishing is what could be a problem on a specific game. So they asked me like, okay, read the script, see how many issues or social issues there are in the game that could be problematic. And yeah, I did that list, and I was like, whoa, that's a big list, not nice. But we were all okay with it. So yeah, that was terrifying. It's like, how are we going to do this? Like, well, my boss told me, make sure they treat this in a really sensible way. That's the only way we're going to allow that to happen. If they treat it in a really nice way. And yeah, that was kind of daring at the time.
And probably time to move on to the next question. Did you expect Life is Strange to be as popular as it is today with all the fans, with all the community content?
No, and I don't think, if anyone will tell you yes, that's a lie. No, we so it's because it's a difficult question to answer, because personally I thought it was a great game. I think everyone that was working on it, we saw all like, that was a great game, that the themes, scripts, the design, everything was great, but it was very different to everything that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Or so we thought. And it's like, that's a bit scary, because what happens if people don't like it, or they think we shouldn't talk about this or that, or so no, we didn't expect that. We expect some people will love it, but not as much. So that was like really impressive, and I think it is. It is. I still, when I read the tweet of someone that likes the game, I still, I cannot believe it. So it's like, yeah, that's not the game I work on.
So then, what's your I assume that's part of it. So what else is your motivation for staying as active in the community as you are?
So yeah, I cannot. I love the game. I'm a gamer, same as you guys. And talking to people that like this game, it's good. I love it. And if someone talks to me, I don't see why not talk to back. And if I see something nice, it's great. The fan art is amazing. There's no way I cannot share that. I mean, I share all the things that I like about other games, but if I see something that is lovely, I just need to share it. It's how I am, I think. But it's the same with the rest of the team. We all like the community, and it's so nice, the community itself. There's no swearing, no hate, or I prefer this ending or this other one, or I prefer this option or this other one. But there's never grudge against each other, so it's really comfortable, to be honest. So yeah,
definitely.
Wow. So you were a part of the Extra Life stream. How did that come to be, and what was your personal experience with that? So
it was Toby and Scott wanted to do this stream of Extra Life. And they said to me, like, you've been active on Twitter, on Facebook and forums. Would you be interested to do one episode or maybe half an hour so we can pick your brains and different things? And I went like, yeah, I mean, if you want to do the whole game, I can do the whole game. I mean, it's for a good cause at the end of the day. And it's talk about something I know. I was extremely nervous, I have to say, because it was like the first time kind of that I'm on a public phase and people could ask questions. So it's like, what if I don't know the answer, or they ask something that's I don't know. So, but people, as I said, community is super nice. So all the questions were great. So I was very happy, exhausted at the end, because I think we were there for a long time. It was 2 days, was it? Yeah, we did the first episode to the third, and then fourth and fifth the second day. That room was very hard, I have to say.
And if I remember correctly, the stream raised over about $6,000 US as well, which was just an outstanding amount of money to raise for charity.
Mm.
And I think we set our objective like 5,000, but we didn't expect it. It's like, 1,000 per episode. But we were happy with anything that people will give because, it helps. So seeing how people actually were contributing, even when we finished, and between today, it was great. I mean, we were just, shocked. We all, even us, we put money in. People from Square, they were personally putting money as well. So because we all, want to help anyway. So that was great. It was great. And I know some people from Donna were watching as well, so that made me very nervous.
All right. So have you actually played Life is Strange in your own time? And if so, what were the biggest decisions that you made on the game? What were your choices? Yeah,
I played it several times at home, PC and PS4. So I love Chloe and relationship with Chloe. So yeah, what I have to say. So yeah, most of the time I was for example, taking the blame for the pod. I never blame Nathan because I love Nathan.
Me too.
So I blame Jefferson because was the only choice, even though I know he was. But it's not because of that. It's just David. I like David because of his personality. So he's trying to do good. So that was no reason to blame him. And Nathan is just a troubled kid, to be honest. I saved Kate. But I have to say, the first time we did that scene, everyone at Donut and Square Enix failed to save Kate. It was very much more difficult that seems. If you guys think now it's tough, it was tougher, way tougher. What else? I couldn't kill a dog. Of course, there was no chance of killing a dog. I'm friends with Frank because he loves dogs. Why not? And I had to kill Chloe on the alternative life. I had to. That is kind of like really powerful scene for me. Then I convinced. No, I was friends with Victoria towards the end, and I hugged Warren, saved the homeless lady. What else? I'm missing something, isn't it? And I'm not going to talk it to the end. So yeah, no. The last choice. That's so. That was I think it was our intention anyway. It was a hard choice. Personally, again, this is personal opinion. Okay, it's not our intention or not our intention. I had to sacrifice Chloe. So yeah, save the town. But I think both endings are really powerful. So. So yeah,
it seems to be quite with our guests that have played the game, and just from what I've seen, quite the prevailing one is Sacrifice Chloe, and I know Jess sacrificed Chloe as well. So I guess Jamie and myself are just monsters.
No chance. So that's for me the amazing part of this game is like there's no right choice.
Right.
It's what you feel is right. So you save Chloe. That's good. That is as good as not saving Chloe. I know it feels wrong, but that's the idea. Every choice has a consequence. There's never ever a perfect ending because there cannot be. It's like life. Any choice that you do in life has a consequence. Not everyone is going to be happy with what you do, and you should accept that. That's what we try to do anyway.
Oh boy, I remember playing that ending. I sacrificed Arcadia Bay, and I was like, oh man, this ending sucks. But I made the really bad choice of going back and choosing the sacrifice Chloe ending, and I was like, oh, this is even worse.
Yeah, worse isn't just heartbreaking. I can't. Both endings get me teary-eyed, but especially sacrifice Chloe. I think maybe that's probably why I'm so resolute.
But I think it's as well about what you care about the game. I love Chloe, but I love a lot of other characters on the town. So I couldn't sacrifice Chloe, but I do totally understand that if you have a stronger bonding with Chloe, that's what you choose. You just leave the town behind with all the distraction.
Yeah,
so,
I totally agree. I sacrificed Arcadia Bay first, and then I went back, and I'm like, no, it doesn't feel right. And I don't know. I felt like I wasn't not that I wasn't satisfied, but I wasn't happy. I don't know. Not that I was happy that Chloe died, but I'm not a monster.
Chloe's a great character. So it was. I remember seeing the scene when we created it the first time. Both sacrificing and both things, and both of them were really touching, even if it was very rough. And when we got the voiceover, that was no. And I remember when the music was there, I was like, yeah, that's hard to watch. And imagine making the game, you need to watch that scene over and over. It's just tough. It's just very tough, can tell you. Because as well, doing those endings, the whole team knew that that was the end.
Right.
And the end of our journey as well. So we've been invested in this game for a long time, and that was it. That was just that. So we've done. So that was really emotional, to be honest.
Before we move on to our last question, I want to sneak another question in. We probably should have done this toward the beginning. We should ask you this. So I read over the transcripts of the interview that you had in Spanish, the translated transcripts that someone did, and could you maybe tell us a little bit about your involvement with the game itself? Like, what all you did with the game?
Okay, so that's again a difficult question, but very interesting. So I'm involved in game design. That means that I work with with the level designers, the lead game designer, Baptiste, Simon. They have a great team there. Sophie, Kevin, Charles Andreas. So there is a great team there of designers. So we work on the mechanics together from the beginning. We work on the scenes itself. Then I was involved as well in part of the script with Christian Devine and Michelle, reviewing that was good. From when we started every episode to the end, and then supervising that the whole cohesion was good. So yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, we did sit down a lot of time together. Figuring out things and talking about script and so yeah, there was a lot of back and forth and on the creative side. I spent a lot of time with Michelle and Raul, same room, talking about different scenes, how they were, even puzzles. So it's a lot of work, a lot of different work, but it was really, really good.
And if I'm not mistaken, you were the one that added in the scene with Victoria. If you do warn her, she ends up in the dark room, correct?
So yeah. So at the beginning, we weren't sure what was going to happen to Victoria. I remember suggesting it to Michelle Raoul. What if we bring Victoria towards the end, and if people befriend her, she's there, and they liked the idea. They played a bit with it, and yeah, that's how we ended up there.
So you're the one responsible for making me feel so terrible about warning her.
Oh yeah, sorry, guilty. No, again, there was a lot of conversations about how to add her, if it was good or not good. So it was a consensus. So it's not just me saying, yeah, let's do it and put it for sure there, or do this exactly. So it was more, it's a big collaboration. So say I do something only me, it's not 100% right, to be honest.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, speaking of game design and all that, what message or what, advice could you give to someone who is seeking game design as a career path?
So what I'll say is, like, a lot of people will say to you, to people that want to do game design, play a lot. And that's right. But live life. That's more important than playing games to be a good game designer. I know it sounds, that's odd. But no, read, look at movies, go out with friends, experience things. Don't just sit down at home and play. Get another hobby. Photography could be a sport, anything, because that is going to be your source material when you start creating things. That's going to be, I went in the park today and I saw something that could be part of the game. If you want to try to do something narrative, then read a lot and see movies, how they do it. And, Life is Strange has a bit of nearly all of the team in there in terms of emotion or a scene that touches us, because we had something quite similar happening to us. So live life, and then study. that's the part. But I think it's important that people live and not just concentrate on computers.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
I mean, if there's a lot of good books, if people want to read about books, the only advice that I'll say is when you pick a game design book, look who wrote the book.
Mm-hmm.
They did a game before, get the book. Okay, there's a lot of people they just do theory. So, which is not wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love a lot of theory books. I like people that have done something and have really worked on a game, which is very different from theory.
I guess that's a good way to bring us into our fan questions now. And so these were all. We had a lot of submissions. We want to thank everybody that submitted questions. Of course, we had to pick only a select few, but I do appreciate everybody that submitted.
All right, so I apologize if we butcher your guys' names. I just wanted to say that in advance. So let's move on to the next one then. All right, so Sphelina B wants to know how many ideas were rejected before final conception of the game.
So when we were presented with the concept, we liked it. So there was nothing rejected. I know it seems difficult to believe, but there was nothing. We all loved what we saw, and we moved forward with it. We polished stuff, but nothing was rejected.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
awesome.
it's very short, but it's the truth.
Wow.
I know the guys did iterate, so in the conception phase, there is always, iterations, and you go over different ideas, but that is not what you present. When you present something you think is good, then is when we say, okay, we liked it or not like it, or change this or change that. In this case, I can tell you that we were present with the idea, and it was like, yep, fine, go ahead, do it.
That's awesome. It's props to Don't Nod for that. Then.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, so Myra would like to know what were the inspirations for Blackwell Academy?
Well, as far as I know, I think Michelle, Christian Divine, and the creative team there, they look a lot into different high schools in the States. So Christian Divine is living in the States, so he gave us a lot of references. So it's not one reference. We look a lot into different things. We look a lot into private schools, colleges or academies, to create this feeling of like being more, in a closed environment with not that many people in.
Anton K. I'm sorry if I messed that name up. So you've kind of already answered this, but we'll go ahead and ask it again. So what was your original reaction to the game when it was first presented to you?
Yeah, I was like, wow. I really need to work on that. Like, are they going to go that way? Because I remember seeing the slap on David to Chloe, and went like, whoa, I think it's the first time I see this in a video game that affects me. That I feel like, no, that's not right. So yeah, I was like really impressed. Yeah, I needed to work on that. That was the only thing. That's my first reaction to it.
Wow. All right. So you already answered this one too, pretty much, but I'm gonna go ask it again. So RDB wants to know how many fears and worries were there that the game would be ignored for being like too indie initially?
So for being too indie, I mean, the question that you guys asked before is about the community. This is a bit being indie. We never feared that. So we thought it was not, it is not a big AAA game yet, of course. But that was never the intention anyway. So we wanted to do something that felt indie, kind of like Sundance movies. So the visual needed to be different because the game is different. So, the story needs to fit the game, that needs to fit the visuals, the audio, so everything needed to fit. And for example, some people say, why is not that realistic, the game? Or why the graphics are not better? The graphics are great because they show what we want them to show. It's not realistic. We never intended that because it doesn't fit the story we want to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was no fear on that.
Righty. Nigel would like to know who chose the songs for the soundtrack. Was it involved by Don't Nod or Square Enix, and how did they go about picking songs for specific scenes?
So as far as I know, Jean-Luc Cano, which is one of the writers, with Michel and Raoul, when they were writing the first kind of idea of the game, they were already thinking about the style of the music already in mind that would suit the story. Then the Raoul and Michel with the sound engineers, musicians there, Donut, were picking like different scenes and different songs because they suit the emotion of the scene. So then we were presented with that and see if we liked it or not. And it's great to work on those sort of things because you listen to it, you close your eyes, you imagine the scene, then you open your eyes, you see the scene or read what's going to happen. It's like, yeah, that's perfect. It's just spot on. So it was in Donut created, but we always were part of the process.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to hear that there was such synergy between Square Enix and Don't Nod and all that because I don't know, I obviously for obvious reasons I love Don't Nod and it knowing that you guys at Square Enix were able to get along so well and that you guys at Square Enix were just as excited about this game as Don't Nod was and all that. It's like, I don't know, that's a little tangent, but it does my heart good to hear that.
Yeah, so this is something that I'm not saying it's odd to happen, at least in Square. Since I've been working in Square Enix, when we're assigned to a project, we always put like a designer, a producer, and then there is a technical director. But the people that we work on those projects, we all love the game that we're doing, and we always try hard, like really hard, to work with the studio that's doing it to show that we love the game as much as them. We always try to do that the best, and in the case with Donut, it's just that we were in complete sync. So, I said something, they liked it. They say something, I liked it. So there was like complete, this is a work of craft between a lot of different people. So we don't see each other as, oh, they are Square Enix, oh, they are Donut people. It's like we all in the same team. We all love the game. So I think that is what made it what it is. Part, I'll say.
That's incredible to hear.
Mm.
So moving on from my tangent, let's see. Sorry, I lost my place. Sorry about this.
All right.
Bernardo would like to know what tips you would give for developing a script and just in general for being a competent game designer, which you've already touched on some.
So I think being a script, I'm not a script writer, but what I'll say is like, it's a bit what I said before. Live life, read a lot, watch movies, watch TV series, then write a lot. And then from there, try to create a dialogue between two people. You'll see that, sometimes when you see dialogues in movies or games, you can say, oh, that's a crappy dialogue. But when you have to do it, it seems easy, but having a normal conversation between two characters, it's not as easy as it seems. So write a lot. That's my main advice.
All right. So Ramazan wants to know what processes are involved for you in like designing a game. For example, methods used, things to look for to build, and etc.
So something that's when we start creating a game, what we always ask ourselves, that's kind of like the first step, is what is the game? What's the game we want to do? What are the pillars of the Life is Strange or any other game? What defines what the game is? It could be relationships, it could be conversations, it could be love, it could be rewind power, or it could be just a power. All those things are kind of like what defines your initial thoughts. So you're kind of like putting what's going to sustain the rest of the game or design you're going to create. Out of that, then you start creating kind of small systems. So if we're going to create the rewind, what are the rules for the rewind? For example, we'll go, okay, you can, you remain in the same place. So you start creating rules out of that. So, and then you start seeing how those rules will work on your living room. Okay, if you do this or in a small puzzle that you create, will it work? Will it not work? Is it fun? It's not fun. That's kind of like really big brushes around. Okay, but if you start with something, we always start with those pillars, and then from there on, start moving more in detail what those pillars actually mean. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also like I think they were curious as well as like for more of a I guess removed from the game and more of like a resume or CV building standpoint, which I guess is more like career building. What things would you want to look for to build in your CV or your resume?
Mm-hmm.
So that depends on the type of game design you want to do. Nowadays, there is a lot of like career options in game design. You have system design, fighting design designer. You have economy designer. You have level designer. So that depends where you want to go. I always say try to do something with touch Unreal, touch Unity. They're really easy to pick and start playing with mechanics, do a small mechanic around. So in terms of resume, I'll say what you want to do is like if you want to create systems, could be from gameplay and fighting styles or fighting mechanics, just specialize on that and then play with editors and try to see how you can create those. That's kind of really key. I mean, if you're new to games industry, that's the best way to start. Play around and try to create, kind of some prototypes of the game that you want to do or systems that you want to build, so you can present to someone.
It's good advice.
Yeah, because local college I actually go to actually have their own course in game design where you can just learn like level design and all like the subtopics underneath game designer, which is really interesting to learn.
Yeah, I think level design is like it is a craft to be honest, because it's everyone thinks like, oh, that's level design. For example, campus of Blackwell, it's really easy to do that. That's an empty space, and you start putting people there and here, and that's it, isn't it? But you need to understand how you want people to walk, what you want them to see, what you want to hide, but still be seen or not seen. What's the path that people are going to take? Then you test it. You see it as like, oh, they didn't see Daniel in this corner, so if I move it here, it could work or not. It is really a craft. So I think it's quite nice to try these things because they are more difficult than what it seems sometimes.
So Marilu would like to know, how did Max get her powers, or who or what gave Max her powers?
Ooh, that's the $1 million question. No, that's a big debate, which I'm not going to answer. So, I'm going to say why not. So, we do know how Max got the powers. We want to spill the beans? No. I think it's what's important is you guys what you think it is. I think it's part of the charm of the game because it's the mystery. What drives you to do theories. If I confirm one that is a giant squirrel that gives her the powers, suddenly everyone that doesn't think the same, it's like oh that's a bit of a that's not that nice. It's not that original. Yeah, so in part we prefer to keep that charm. It's like, what do you think it is? Maybe it's the butterfly. Maybe it's Samuel. Maybe theorize. That's good. That's good. Keep it alive.
Is that something? Is that something that maybe we're going to find out in a possible season 2, or?
Don't know.
I think the most obvious answer is that Don't Nod and Square Enix gave Max the powers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one, boy. That's a really good one.
So several fans have asked about the potential for DLC or anything. Are you aware of? Is there going to be any development for Rachel Amber? Is there going to be any sort of prequel type thing?
So I'm going to be quite honest here. I mean, we all like to do more things with Life is Strange, but unfortunately cannot say anything at the moment about this. But time will tell. That's all I can say.
Ooh. I like the mystery. All right.
It's like Life is Strange. It's always a mystery.
So Luke wants to know, in the game, it feels as though, the animals, like, for example, the spirit doe, the blue butterfly, pompidou, and the squirrels, they were all picked with, like, a certain purpose in mind. What was the reasoning behind picking the animals, and what do you think they represent?
So when picking the animals, and, totemic animals are kind of like very spiritual in some parts of America and even Europe. So we were picking those on purpose, depending on the characters. It's the same like the clothes of every character defines the character itself and the colors they use. So we always try to pick those that suited the character that they represent. I think the obvious one is Rachel, which I guess everyone knows which one it is. Which it's kind of a bit of representation of guiding other people towards something. In this case, Max. So, yeah, we did spend kind of a bit of time defining what was each one and what did it mean for each character. But like everything in the game, everything that every character has been thought like over and over. If you go to any of the rooms, every single object there has a meaning because it suits that character, basically. So.
And I like with since a few spirit animals were confirmed in the game, it kind of kept the fans guessing. With this character, what would their spirit animal be?
Mm-hmm.
Which is it's great with the community keep on guessing.
Yeah, and something that we loved is like when every episode went out, we all like, and when I say all, is every single one of us went on forums, Twitter, read, and we read everything that everyone was saying, and some people were right, some people were wrong, some people were in between, and we all loved it. We all loved to see how people actually interact and think how things were connected. That was one of the biggest boosts to keep working on the game, that people loved and really wanted to know more about it. That was really nice.
Alrighty, so okay, so Kevin would like to know, what was your greatest challenge during the production as a game designer?
So the challenge is episodic. That was the biggest challenge, because you need to keep the dates as much as possible, because you guys needed the episodes. So, but we didn't want to release a bad episode. So the quality was like, episode 1 raised the quality. Then episode 2 had to be as good as episode 1, even better if we could. So that gave us like, design puzzles needed to be perfect. The scenes needed to be absolutely gorgeous. So it was doing that in a very short amount of time. It was very exhausting, but I think we all as a team managed to put it through, and we all happy with what we got. So I think, I'll say the episodic content was really tough.
Well, you already straight up answered our next question by Derek, so I'm not going to ask it again. I'm sorry, Derek. So I'm going to throw something else in there. And I think the answer is kind of obvious, but if there is a season 2, if there is any further Life is Strange stuff, do you want to be a part of it?
If there is, as I said before, I love the first one. If there is a second one, I love to be. Now, will it be? I don't know. To be honest, I hope, but that's all I have.
All right.
I really hope there is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure everybody does.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on. For the next question, I honestly have no idea how to say this name. I'm so sorry.
Elon?
Eon wants to know who calls Jefferson in episode 2 when speaking to him after Kate walks off.
Now, that I'm going to ask the question, who you think it is?
Well, it's not Ethan.
No, not definitely. And no one that's around it, definitely not David. I like to keep the mystery. I'll say who I think it is, and I'm not going to confirm or deny. It's to be with the Prescott family.
Ah, okay. That's kind of who I was thinking. Is maybe Sean. Because I know there was a bit of Jefferson backstory that we didn't get to see.
Yeah. So that's the bad thing about doing games, is that you want to tell so much more about every single character that there's literally no time to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we wanted to explain more stuff about every one of them. Jefferson as well, because he's not. At least I don't see him as a supervillain or like, he's just evil and that's about it. No, he has its own background. He's how he is for a reason. So we never managed to explore that, but we needed to tell that story. It was not Jefferson's story; it was Mark's story.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's probably time for the final question. Mike would like to know, what was the animation process and how was it all brought together in the game?
So the animation, we used kind of like a mixture between hand animation and mock-up, which is recording actors doing the sessions and then putting them onto the game. So basically what we did is we had the script, the whole scenes, then Michelle and Raul will go to studio where they record the different scenes with actors to capture the movement, and then we'll bring those movements to the office. Then we'll put them there in the game, and then if there was some awkwardness, then we'll fix that with animators by hand. So yeah, that was kind of it.
All right. Well, so again, thank you everybody that submitted your questions, and Alejandro, thank you for being able to answer the fan questions, not just ours. That's awesome of you.
Thanks to everyone that submitted questions. I mean, I'm always happy to answer anything.
So I guess now we're going to do our Everyday Heroes segment. And Alejandro, you're going to join us for that, correct?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Alright, so to those who are unaware about Everyday Heroes, it's a small segment in the show that we like to appreciate the fan community with the different content that they make, whether it be videos, fan art, cosplays, anything. Anything you make will probably feature in the show at some point. So, Jess, what would you like to start us off with?
All right, so the piece that I chose this week, it's called Max by Groby Graphic on DeviantArt, and I chose this piece because the overall conception is like so emotional to me and absolutely moving. And I have to say quickly, this artist's work is probably some of the best work I've ever seen. You guys should definitely check out her portfolio. It's just astonishing. So anyways, so this piece is really, really beautiful, like all the other ones here. But it really sticks out to me because of the layout. I really, really, really love this drawing and how it's like in the shape of a portfolio, and the colors really suit the emotion of the whole drawing. And also Max's expression really, really does this piece justice. So, that's probably what I like about it.
And I think it's very beautiful how the colors that he applied to it. It feels like it's kind of like a dream. Like Max is kind of like thinking or remembering, and kind of like that warm color that has on the background with the video of stars behind and these coming from down. It's very nice.
I like the way that the exterior of the Polaroid is designed like Max's journal. In the top left, you can kind of see the text.
I think it was taped on.
Yeah. And the way that the butterflies are drawn on, like afterwards, like Max went back to it, kind of drew over it. It's a really nice detail.
And it's nice to see too that, which granted, given the nature of the game, that leads for a lot of like darker and more, sad and emotional, all that. It's nice to see Max kind of in a better place in this picture. I wouldn't say like, necessarily happy is not what I feel is being portrayed, but just kind of, I don't know, very, what's the word? Like just kind of lost in thought. But I guess kind of like you were saying, Alejandro, it has a warm feeling to it.
Yeah. Definitely, like at least she's not sad about what she's remembering, She's
Right.
kind of like that look and that expression that is not completely sadness, which is nice. And I think it suits good with the colors that he used.
So my choice is called the Butterfly Effect, and it is by GL Ping, I believe is how you say that on DeviantArt. I guess I like ultimately I like the simplicity of it. It's not like minimalist or anything like that. It's very detailed. Chloe's very detailed and all that, but it's also very simple. It captures an emotion very, it's white background. You've got the music notes. She's listening to her headphones. It's, I don't know. I feel like it does a good portrayal of, you can just imagine Chloe kind of zoning out with just her music when she's going through a hard time and all that. And it's kind of emotional, in a way to me, because as I'm sure a lot of people, music really helps through some hard times, and you kind of see that with Chloe here. And I don't know. I just thought it was really, really beautiful for not a whole lot going on, and I always like those kinds of artwork.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. I mean, you can definitely see that she's, for her at this point, nothing matters anymore, and it's more like, let herself loose with the music and the feeling of the music. So that's why I think that white background works perfect there, because it's like there's nothing else that matters in the music. So I think the expression of her on the background is just perfect.
I love the way that her face is lit up as well, where you can see like the different highlights and the shadows. It's just beautifully done.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've seen this piece before. I probably saw it on Instagram somewhere, but yeah, I love like the foreground, like just like everything. I love the color. It matches beautifully, and it's definitely something different, but I like it.
Ready? It's time for the last piece. So I chose Chloe Price fan art by Danacast83 on DeviantArt, and okay, so in episode 1, this is probably my favorite scene in the entire game. Well, in that entire episode, and when Max and Chloe are, are on the way to Chloe's house, and it's like, it's hard to put it into words. I just love the amount of detail that they've actually put in this image itself. I mean, you can see like very, very small things like the stickers on the back of the car, like I love LA, the Paris, even the Foals poster as well. Which, to those who are unaware, Foals performs Spanish Sahara, which is in the ending of Sacrifice Chloe.
Yep.
And
one of the songs for me, I have to say.
And yeah, this is just really beautifully done. I can't say anything more about it because I'm just staring at it.
I think he managed to capture the color, the warm color coming from the window, which was kind of like key on that scene. That warm, like color that brings you that going back with Max again. I think, as you said, details, even the marks on the dirt at the back. Which I'm trying to read.
I was doing that too. Something happy.
Yeah. And even the back seat of the truck, where you could see, it's kind of like how Chloe treats things, kind of like a bit broken, like doesn't care too much. So I think it's brilliant.
I mean, yeah, it looks like it was out of the video game. Like, it doesn't even look like a drawing to me. It's just, I love the blurriness of the background too. You can definitely tell like she's, driving along the road, and I don't know, I love like the realness of it. It looks really, really amazing.
I like the thing about this image. And I guess I'm doing what Alejandro was doing, is I'm sitting there trying to read all these things. Like, so you get it's like the small stuff that adds like so much life to this picture. Like, I mean, I don't want to parrot, what was said, but yeah, it's the small stuff that adds so much life to this image that really captured it.
And I think as well, it reflects a bit the game, because it's full of details, and it's really well crafted. Everything has a meaning. So Fools, as you say, of LA. The fact that they wanted to travel to Paris and never managed to do it is still there on that image. So I think it's really nice.
Yeah, it's just, I love it.
All right, well, thank you, Groby Graphic, GL Ping, and Danny Cass for allowing us to use your artwork on the show. Before we say our final goodbyes, I want to just have a couple little quick points about the podcast itself. We do have an RSS feed up now, where you can find audio versions of all of our episodes. except for episode 10, because being that it was such an image heavy, I mean, it was all about fan art. I didn't see the need. It would be weird to have that in just audio format. Also, there's like the last episode that we did, I was wrong on a lot of stuff. I'll leave it up to everyone to point out what I was wrong on, but so I am aware of how almost everything that came out of my mouth in the last episode was erroneous. And soon I'm working on making it so you can find the podcast on iTunes. So that is in the process, and expect that soon. And we have an actual domain now. It's pretty much the same website because I'm teaching myself web design as I go, but it is blackwellpodcast.com now instead of .wordpress.com. So that's exciting.
And if you want to send any artwork to us for us to use in a future episode, send it to our email, which is blackwellpodcast@hotmail.com. You can tweet it to us at blackwellpdcast. I mean, you can send it to us on our Tumblr, which is Blackwell Podcast, or if you just make it, we'll find it. Because we love the fan art in the community, so we go out, message, what we love, and hopefully, we're able to use it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Alejandro. It was an awesome experience, and we're so stoked that you were able to be on the interview.
Well, thanks to you guys. It's been a real pleasure answering all the questions. You're great guys. So it's just, it's really nice to be here. Thanks a lot.
And should we talk about what we will be talking about next week as well?
Sure.
Okay, so next week we are talking about Warren. Boy, it's going to be a fun one. I'm going to try and contain myself by not saying as many bad jokes as last time.
This will be a good episode for Jess.
Yay.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. We say it every episode, and I'm going to say it again. Just absolutely love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us and enjoying our work. And, it's Alejandro, again, thank you for being here. I've been excited all week, so it was awesome. It was awesome to have you here.
Same here. I was very nervous. Thanks a lot of you. Thanks everyone that's listening to this. I think, it's a great community, so please keep being as awesome.
With that said, we will see everybody next week.